All right, guys, this was requested by Underground. It says, Jeepers Creepers, the true crime story of Marilyn and Dennis Depue. I think that's how you say their last name. So is this like what the Jeepers Creepers movie was based off of? The true crime story of Marilyn and Dennis Depue by the channel Mobile Instinct. All right, let's go ahead and check it out, guys.
Most of us have seen Jeepers Creepers from 2001.
You know what's funny? Like a few weeks ago, I watched Jeepers Creepers for the first time in years. I mean, I watched it years ago, but I rewatched it just because I was bored. It was on TV and I watched it. So Underground, it's funny you requested this. I just rewatched Jeepers Creepers a few weeks ago. It's a good movie. It's creepy, but it's a good movie.
But I feel like a lot of you don't realize that the beginning of that movie is based on a real story,
I did not know that. I thought it was just a horror movie made up. I did not know that, well, at least the beginning of Jeepers Creepers, the movie, was based off a true story. We learn something new every day, guys. I did not know that.
Situation that happened.
This looks like where I live. I live in northern Illinois. There's cornfields everywhere. I live in a smaller town, so the back country roads look just like this. Oh gosh. I'm going to be looking behind me now when I'm driving on a back road near my house out in the country. I'm going to be looking behind me like, is anyone following me in some creepy truck?
In 1990,
thanks, Underground.
46-year-old Dennis Depue murdered his wife, Marilyn.
Oh, hell no. The lady here, Marilyn, looks creepy, but look at Dennis. This dude just looks terrifying.
And stashed her body. But the story is extremely bizarre. Although the director has never come out and said it, it's pretty obvious that this story is basically that's the beginning of Jeepers Creepers.
Wow.
So I wanted to
I didn't know that.
See for myself, see the abandoned school and drive down South Prairie Road. This is where it all took
Bridgeton,
place.
I've watched that before.
Easter Sunday, 1990. Ray and Marie Thornton are driving down this road, South Prairie Road. A Chevy van comes up behind them very quickly and then very aggressively passes them at a high rate of speed. And that's when Marie Thornton says, referencing the license plate, "Geez, that guy's in a rush." They have a laugh about it and continue on down this road. And just a few miles
what's up?
Further, they come across the abandoned schoolhouse.
Whoa, look at that old school. That's really cool. Guys, I'm big into metal detecting and stuff. So when I see places like this, I don't think, oh, that's haunted. I'd be like, oh, I'd love to get my metal detector and see what old coins and jewelry and stuff I could find in the grass area here. But that's a beautiful old school right there. It is a little creepy, though.
And it's there that they see that van again. They see a man, and he looks like he's holding a blanket or a sheet that is full of blood, or at least it's red. At the time, they don't know.
Was that real footage? Was that real footage, or was that like from a movie or something? That's not Jeepers Creepers. Is that actual footage?
Blanket or a sheet that is full of blood, or at least it's red. At the time, they don't know.
Yo.
And here it is. The actual school, built in
Wow.
1908. This is it. This is where Ray and Marie Thornton drove by and saw that same vehicle and that man. His car, I believe, was parked right in here.
Oh, it was an unsolved mystery show? Okay, Chelsea. So it was like reenacted. Okay. This literally looks like the area where I live. Just cornfields and just country. I mean, I live in town, but I just drive a mile outside of where I live, it's just cornfields and shit like this.
Here, I believe this is where the big tank was. And he was somewhere back here.
Don't tell me this dude Dennis was putting bodies in the big water tank. Yo.
They see him with a blanket or a sheet. And that's right when Marie says, what is that? That man, he has a blood-soaked sheet or something.
Oh, I know, Dragon Hunter. Urban exploring is
we're not hanging
very
around.
dangerous.
Let's get out of here. So they take off. They realize they probably better get the heck out of this area, so they keep on driving. They kind of take off. And a few miles down the road, that same vehicle, that Chevy van, right on their bumper, riding there.
That's literally how Jeepers Creepers starts, other than it's not a van, it's some creepy old truck. Dennis probably saw the people looking at him. He hopped in his van and he sped up the road to catch up with these people. Oh no.
Their bumper. And now they are freaking out. What
Yo.
is this guy doing? This goes on for a few miles until the Thorntons pull off and head down a different road. They can see in their rearview mirror that the vehicle has pulled off at the intersection. He's on the side of the road. And they say, you know what? We need to turn around. Very ballsy couple, the Thorntons. We need to turn around.
Yeah, very ballsy. We need to turn around. No, I would keep going down that road and just lose that guy. I would keep driving. I would not turn around and go back towards where that dude was.
Around, and we need to get a description of this vehicle, get the license plate, because he's up to something.
Oh my gosh.
We don't know what that whole thing was with the blanket. He was trying to put it into the ground. They turn around, they come back to the
That's freaking creepy.
Great scary kid behind a camera video for you to watch.
Hey, Kevin, thank you for the reaction request and the donation, man. Appreciate the support. I will check that out in just a little bit. Thank you, Kevin.
Intersection, the van is still there, and that man is switching his license plates. The passenger door is open.
What?
Marie Thornton can see that it is covered with blood. And they're like, we're out of here.
He's switching license plates? Yo, that's sus. There's blood all over the door. This is actually scarier than the movie Jeepers Creepers. I did not know the movie was partially based off a true story. That's crazy.
They take off, head back in the direction of the school.
What's up, Nathan?
They want to go see what this guy was doing. They head back. They end up at the school again. Believe it or not, they get out.
Oh my gosh.
They need to see what this guy was stashing.
Yeah, he's not lying. This Thornton couple, they were ballsy. They went back to the school and they're going to try to look in the water, whatever tank in the back to see what's in it. Oh man, is this Dennis dude going to come back and catch them?
What was he doing? What was that sheet or that blanket? So they get out of their car and they walk down and they find a little animal hole, and it's there that they find a blood-soaked blanket. He was trying to put that down a hole unsuccessfully.
Yo. Yeah, Bridget, apparently
it's a big misconception.
This really happened.
He had anything to do with the inside of the school. He didn't stash anything in the school.
I bet that school's freaking haunted.
He pulled over to try to stash that bloody blanket, or possibly even to, if he found a good spot, to stash Marilyn.
Okay, Underground.
At that point, they take off and they're headed for the police. Now, this happened just after the situation at the Depue house. Now, Dennis and Marilyn Depue had been married for many years.
This story's crazy. Like I said, I had no idea Jeepers Creepers was partially based off a true story about Dennis Depue.
I believe it was 18
Wow.
years. They had gotten divorced, but he did have specific visitation
What's up, GTA?
rights. Again, Easter Sunday, he came to pick up the kids. They did not want to go with him, and he got into an argument with Marilyn. And
That's always a red flag when the kids do not want to go with the dad. He was clearly a violent person or something. When your own kids don't want to go with you, when the kids did not want to go with the dad, Dennis, that's a red flag. Seriously.
she fell down. He pushed her, or she fell down the stairs. She hurt herself badly, and
Yo, what's up, Isaac? How you doing, man?
He basically dragged her out of the house, telling the kids that we're going to go to the hospital. We're going to the hospital. Well, they never went to the hospital, but one of the kids did run out of the house then, and went to call the police. So the police had 2 separate calls, probably even at the time, not even realizing it was the same person that they were calling about.
It was the same dude. Wow.
So what happened was, a day later, they were looking for Dennis. He was gone. He disappeared. And it was a day later, not far from here, basically in between this school and where their house used to
10
be.
minutes reaction. It's mafia related.
They
but
found,
it's sort of
I believe it was a
Hey, thanks,
town
Underground.
worker, a road worker, found Marilyn Depue's body on the side of the road. And she was recovered. She had been shot in the back of the head.
The own husband just threw, well, they were divorced, but they were married at one point. He just threw Marilyn's body on the side of the road. He didn't even try to hide her body. What disrespect.
Most likely in the van, which is why it was so bloody in there. So once all that happened, for some time, family members and friends started receiving letters from Dennis, who was on the run and hiding. Strange letters with biblical inscriptions.
What?
Basically justifying
up,
why
Vincent?
he killed Marilyn, saying that she was turning his family against him, that he had lost everything. Dennis was gone for a year. And it was then that Unsolved Mysteries picked up the case. They actually showcased it. I believe it's season...
Wait, so Dennis just disappeared for like a year? I wonder how they found him.
3, episode 20, I think. I'll put it down below. Maybe I'll put a link to it because it's on YouTube. But they did a story about this. But they did a story. They featured this story on there. And so it goes, but that he saw it on TV.
Oh my gosh, that's how he got caught. They freaking made a TV show about him, and then someone probably recognized him in public.
He was living a whole different life at that point. Took on the alias Hank Queen, and was living
Dope
with a
Master.
girlfriend.
I upload there still.
And down in Texas, I believe, Dallas, Texas.
He started a whole new life.
He knew he had to get out
Wow.
of there, so he left that night. And it just so happens that that girlfriend's family members were watching. They called the police, and they found him.
Could you imagine? He went and started a whole new life, and then his new girlfriend, the girlfriend's family, saw a picture of Dennis on TV, and they're like, yo, isn't so-and-so dating this dude? Oh, that's crazy.
Him that night trying to leave the area. There was a long pursuit. He was shooting at them. He actually blasted through 2 police roadblocks.
What?
And he ended up shooting himself, I believe in Mississippi, in the head, actually in the exact same vehicle in that van that he shot Marilyn.
Wow. So he shot himself? Damn.
And this is Dennis's final resting place here with his family. This isn't too far from where that schoolhouse is, just over the border in Indiana.
Wow, they actually gave him a head. They actually gave him a headstone. Oh, that's a surprise.
A scary video by the one and only Mr. Nightmare.
Hey, Simon, thanks for the donation, man. I'll check that out in a little bit. I'm surprised they gave this bastard a headstone. They should have buried him in a unmarked grave. He doesn't deserve a headstone.
I believe, yes.
They should have cremated his ass.
And I don't know who these people are. Possibly sisters. His father actually lived until 2005. His mother until 1997. And of course, 1991.
If I was related to Dennis, I would not want him in the family cemetery. Am I wrong to say that, guys? He seemed like an evil person. I would not want him buried in the family cemetery by his mom, his dad, his sisters. I would have buried him somewhere else or just cremated him and just, they gave him a headstone with flowers and shit. Like, I would not have, if I was related to him, I would not have put him with the other family.
For Dennis, when he took his own life, clearly the flowers and the plants are on this family here, so they probably still have family in the area. I mean, everybody has family. Serial killer.
I understand everyone has family, but there's someone putting flowers on his grave. Flowers.
Bank robbers, murderers, everybody has family. Marilyn, I think she was tired of being controlled. There was a lot going on beneath the scenes there. There was a lot of arguing, and they just were not getting along anymore, and she wanted the divorce, and reportedly he did not want the divorce. And so these things happen sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't see a marker at all.
And
I mean, it wouldn't be sunk just from the 90s that deep, you know?
Yeah, that's what I figured. Since 1990, it's not that long ago where it'd be, you know.
Yeah, completely overgrown.
Yeah.
So I'm
R99, this is the true crime story of Marilyn and Dennis Depue. The movie Jeepers Creepers was partially based off this guy, Dennis. You can always, when the stream's done, you can always rewatch my reaction here, so, or you can go back if you want.
How often are they unmarked graves?
It happens.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, at least I know I'm not crazy then. So anyway, I wanted to come out to the Oakland Hills Cemetery here, pay my respects to Marilyn. But I searched and searched and searched, visited the office.
Oh, so they think Marilyn was buried in an unmarked grave. So Dennis gets a headstone. He killed Marilyn, his ex-wife. He gets a nice headstone with flowers. But poor Marilyn, his ex-wife who he shot, it's looking like she's buried in an unmarked grave. No headstone, no nothing. Just grass. What kind of disrespect is that?
Number of times, and eventually someone came out to try to track her grave down. We couldn't find it, and she's more or less certain that it's an unmarked grave. The chances are her
That's
family
sad.
could not afford, or maybe
That's
did
sad.
not want any kind of a plot.
Yeah,
or
it should
anything
be
for
the
her,
other
any
way
kind of a
around.
tombstone or headstone or anything, but she is pretty much right in this spot here.
My question, though, which really doesn't have to do with the story, if someone's buried in an unmarked grave, if they go to dig a new grave at this cemetery, how do they not know they're going to accidentally hit a casket or someone who's buried if it's unmarked? How would you know where to dig a fresh grave for someone who passed away? If it's unmarked, you wouldn't know where to dig.
And that is the story of Dennis Depue, the murder of Marilyn Depue, and the inspiration, at least at the beginning, of Jeepers Creepers. Crazy story at the expense of Marilyn, of course.
Wow.
And wherever she is, I hope she's resting in peace. All right, I'm getting back on the road. See you in the next video. Final rest.
This was a very interesting video. Again, by the channel Mobile Instinct. Leave a like on it. Like I said, guys, I did not know that the beginning of Jeepers Creepers was based off this guy, Dennis. I had no idea that it was slightly based off a true story. That is very interesting and scary at the same time.